The Washington Bridge was a historical landmark in our town that stood strong for close to a century. It was a structure that quite literally connected communities in the area and created a convenience to commuters. Today I will be explaining the history of the Washington Bridge, from construction to its demolition. Since 1814, Washington had ferry boats as its method of transportation across the Missouri River. But on June 27th of 1934, Washington got the long-awaited approval to build a bridge. The Missouri Valley Bridge and Iron Company began construction in November of 1934. Wooden frames for shaping metal coffer dams to set piers were placed in the river for the pier closest to the south shore. Heavy metal sheets with tongue and groove edges were placed around the frames and driven down into the river. Construction was going smoothly until the winter of 1935, which was the coldest winter Washington has had in 18 years. Because the river was frozen solid, a delay in construction occurred. Some people even walked or drove across the solid ice when necessary. But cold weather passed, and on June 7th of 1935, the Washington Citizen reported that the bridge was nearly completed, and that it was expected to open early in 1936. Once the piers were completed, construction of the top part of the bridge came from both the north and the south bank. Overhead steel structures and the road bed met in the middle, and afterward concrete was poured for the road surface. The bridge's formal opening was on May 28, 1936, which was conveniently the eve of the 97th anniversary of the city's founding. Mayor Fred J. Ruther requested that all businesses close at noon for this celebratory day. The day was filled with celebration and excitement. There was a parade, banquet, and several speeches. The next day, the bridge was free for traffic. It was estimated that 3,000 vehicles and 12,000 pedestrians crossed the bridge on that day. The day after, 2 toll machines began operation at a small building on the southern approach to the bridge. The tolls were 15 cents for a pedestrian, one way, and 25 cents for a round trip. The cost was higher for the heavier vehicles such as buses, trucks, and farming equipment. After the city had paid all of their municipal bonds and their debts for the bridge was free to transport across. The toll booth closed 3 years ahead of schedule on September 29, 1951. And for many decades, the Washington Bridge stood strong, connecting towns, and was a very successful method of transportation. The bridge was also pleasing to the eye, with its beautiful architectural design, and it was a photography staple in the town of Washington. It also provided people with new job opportunities. But after over 80 years, the bridge began to deteriorate. The cost of repair became too pricey. Members of the Washington Area Highway and Transportation Committee began to strive for the construction of a new bridge. In August of 2016, it was announced that a new bridge will be built. There was excitement for the new bridge, but many were sad to see such a historic structure leave our community. The old Washington Bridge has been standing for several decades, and it was available for everyone, day or night. It made life much simpler and was a great achievement for the city of Washington. But even though it was hard to see the old bridge leave, the new bridge provided much needed upgrades. The new bridge is much wider, which results in safer transportation across the bridge, especially for larger vehicles. It also provides a much better view of the river in downtown Washington, with a protected walkway for pedestrians and bicyclists. But overall, a new bridge was mainly for safety reasons, which is what is most important. On April 11, 2019, the old Washington Bridge was demolished at approximately 10:30 a.m. Similar to the opening of the old bridge, its demolition was an event that hundreds of people gathered to watch. It was bittersweet to see the bridge fall down into the river. Most of the city of Washington and surrounding towns have spent their entire lives driving across this bridge. Personal feelings aside, We can agree that we are very lucky to have had this bridge, and we are even more lucky to have had the ability and resources to build a new one. This new bridge will create new opportunities and memories for future generations, which is all we really need.